Brooke Schofield just announced her engagement after only 4 months of dating, and people are genuinely worried she's making a huge mistake. Because her fiancé, Miles, he's got a past that has the internet calling him a predator, and when people tried to warn Brooke, she went nuclear on them. We're talking deleted comments, public meltdowns, and allegations about Miles dating high schoolers when he was in his late 20s. But there's something else everyone's missing. I spent hours going through the evidence, the deleted posts, and the timeline that has everyone so concerned. And what I found? It's worse than people think. Plus, the real reason people think this engagement is connected to her rumored falling out with Tana. Because that drama, it's all connected. Let's break down exactly why everyone's worried and why they might be right to be. But first, if you don't know who Brooke Schofield is, here's what you need to know. Brooke is one half of the canceled podcast with Tana Mongeau. She's built her brand on being brutally honest about her past relationships, her struggles with borderline personality disorder, and her journey to find healthy love. And that's exactly why this engagement has people so concerned. Because Brooke herself has talked extensively about her pattern of getting into toxic relationships, being love-bombed, and making impulsive decisions when she's unmedicated. Yep, she's literally said, quote, "I was so brainwashed, I'll never do that again, never be unmedicated." So when she announces an engagement after 4 months to a man with a questionable past, well, you can see why people are worried. But to understand just how worried, we need to talk about Miles. Miles Canton, also known as Miles McFly, is not just some random guy. He's the son of Neil Canton, the producer of Back to the Future. We're talking serious Hollywood connections. He's been spotted hanging around celebrities like Sophia Richie and Kendall Jenner. This is not some struggling influencer. This is someone with real money and real connections. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Brooke started soft launching Miles last year, being all mysterious about who he was, but it didn't take long for internet detectives to figure out his identity. Miles is 37, Brooke is 28. That age gap alone isn't the problem. They're both adults. The problem is what people discovered about Miles's past relationships, because when people started digging, they found something that made everyone extremely uncomfortable, and it involves a girl named Isabella. But before I show you what they found, you need to understand just how bad this evidence is. Isabella was a young model who was reportedly still in high school when Miles, then in his late 20s, was allegedly involved with her. And we're not talking about rumors here. People found actual evidence, bed selfies of them together, flirty emoji comments on each other's posts, and Ask.fm posts that looked very much like a couple. There were even fan pages dedicated to their relationship. Now, I want to be clear, we don't know for certain they were officially dating, but the optics, they were not good. A TikTok creator named Becca compiled all this evidence into a video that went absolutely viral. And that's when Brooke had to respond. Brooke claimed the Ask.fm account was fake, that people were essentially cosplaying as this friend group online, making posts that made it seem like Miles and Isabella dated when they were just friends. But here's the thing, even if they were just friends, the photos and interactions were enough to make people deeply uncomfortable. The age gap, the timing, the intimacy of some of these photos. And for a while, the story died down until Brooke announced her engagement. That's when everything exploded again. Within hours of Brooke announcing her engagement, people were bringing up the Miles allegations again. But one TikTok user, Ashling, took it way too far. Ashling posted a video saying, quote, "Brooke Schofield getting married after only knowing this predator of a man for 4 months makes perfect sense when you're thinking about the fact that she has BPD." She basically said that because Brooke has borderline personality disorder, she's incapable of making healthy relationship decisions, and that this engagement is just another example of her mental illness. Brooke was not having it. She commented and later deleted this response. "I have gone through actual unimaginable things in relationships, and I have shared all of that to help other people, not to have it thrown back in my face." She continued, "I just got engaged to a man I have been living with for a year, a man who has never so much as raised his voice at me, who makes my life better and easier in every way he knows how." But then, Brooke said something that changed the entire tone. "You don't even know where your eyebrows are." Aisling clapped back about Brooke's racist past and predator of a man. Then Brooke commented again, also deleted, saying, "You actually can't talk about me with bangs like that." And that's when this whole thing spiraled completely out of control. Now, I need to pause here because what Aisling did, using someone's mental health diagnosis against them, that crossed a major line. Brooke made an entire video addressing this, saying, "I talk about borderline personality disorder. To help other people, not to have it weaponized against me." She pointed out that she's 28 years old, engaged to a 37-year-old man, and, quote, "someone with a personality disorder is actually capable of making human, normal decisions." But here's where it gets complicated. Aisling's point, though delivered terribly, was that Brooke has talked extensively about her pattern of defending toxic men and making impulsive relationship decisions. Brooke's defense was essentially, "I've been living with this man for a year, he's never raised his voice at me, and I've never felt more supported." So the question becomes, is this genuine concern about a pattern, or is this just weaponizing mental health? And honestly, the answer might be both, but there's another layer to this drama that nobody's talking about. Because while all this engagement drama is happening, there are rumors flying that Brooke and Tana aren't even friends anymore. People are saying they only tolerate each other because of their podcast contract, that they're just waiting for it to end so they can go their separate ways. The speculation got so intense that it was showing up on Amari's For You page. That's Tana's assistant, and he had to address it on their podcast. Amari basically said, if you guys hated each other's guts, you wouldn't be sitting on these couches right now. You wouldn't be touring together. Both Brooke and Tana insisted they're like sisters who bicker, but they don't hate each other. And that's not why the podcast is ending. But here's what's interesting. People are connecting this friendship drama to the engagement drama. Like, is Brooke rushing into this engagement because she's losing her best friend and business partner? Because if you think about it, someone with BPD who's potentially losing their primary relationship might absolutely rush into an engagement for security. But then something completely unexpected happened that made everyone question if any of this drama was even real. So after all this back and forth, all these deleted comments and public call-outs, Aisling posted a video joking about going from enemies to lovers with Brooke. She literally said, "Brooke, I know you don't like my baby bangs or my eyebrows, but I think you're hot. Do you want to just do enemies to lovers and make out to resolve this?" And Brooke actually played along. She commented, "Okay, fine, they eat. I can't even pretend." Then she said, "Stop tagging me. I already said I accept." And Aisling responded, "See, I knew we'd come to an agreement." So after all that drama, all those serious accusations about mental health and predatory behavior, they're flirting, making jokes, which makes you wonder how much of internet drama is actually real and how much is just performance for engagement. But regardless of whether their beef was real, the concerns people have about this engagement, those are very real. So let's get real about why people are genuinely concerned about this engagement. First, the timeline. 4 months from dating to engagement is fast for anyone, but especially for someone who's been open about making impulsive relationship decisions in the past. Second, the allegations about Miles were never actually addressed. Brooke said the evidence was fake, but she never really explained the photos, the interactions, the concerning age dynamics. Third, Brooke has a documented pattern of defending controversial men in her life. She's talked about this herself, how she would defend toxic partners with her entire life. And fourth, her response to criticism has been concerning. Instead of addressing the actual concerns, she's attacking people's appearance and getting into petty fights. Look, nobody wants to see Brooke get hurt. She's been through enough, but when someone has been open about their struggles with toxic relationships and impulsive decisions, people expressing concern isn't necessarily hate. Sometimes it's genuine worry from people who've been in similar situations. The problem is when that concern gets mixed up with mental health stigma, personal attacks, and internet drama for engagement. So here's the bottom line. People are worried about Brooke's engagement because of the timeline, the unresolved allegations about Miles, and her pattern of defending controversial relationships. But we need to separate legitimate concerns from mental health stigma and personal attacks. Having BPD doesn't make someone incapable of healthy relationships, but it also doesn't mean all criticism is automatically invalid. The real question is, are people expressing genuine concern, or are they just enjoying the drama? And honestly, it's probably both. What do you think? Are people right to be worried about this engagement, or is this just internet drama getting out of hand? Let me know in the comments. If you want to see more breakdowns of internet drama and the psychology behind it, make sure to like this video and subscribe. And speaking of controversial relationships, there's another influencer engagement that has people even more concerned. But that's a story for next time.